being introduced by such an inspiring woman who has helped build Everest to what it is today. I want to begin by thanking God for such a marvelous occasion. I am honored and humbled to represent myself and my peers who are graduating today. This title of valedictorian could have gone to any of us. As many of you may know, that the graduates here today are extremely academically successful and also class act people. It's been a great year to say the least. The senior Skywalkers dominated in the winter games. Bella and I became grouped as one person. Leonardo DiCaprio finally got his Oscar, not to be confused with Mr. Taylor who's out in the audience. 12 of us were appointed as the new apostles, led by the one and only Hani. And Mrs. Van Wagner's jokes are still not funny. But her daughter Georgia sure is beautiful. Now to my peers, the sizzling seniors, and the one and only Ewok Fight Club. Today's the day. We've been waiting 4 years for this. We've got the caps and gowns, and we have our diplomas already. I want to wish you the best for next year. I hope you all experience the most you can in this life, because there is so much to do, so much to see, and so many people to meet. Don't you ever stop stargazing. Watch the sun rise and set over and over again, and never be ashamed of your passions. Now, I learned a lot in high school, like that as your classes get more advanced, the closer you get to seeing that we actually have no answers. I also learned a lot from my peers, and I wanted to briefly mention a small thing that I learned from each one of you. Starting with someone who we all admire, Holly. I learned from you that learning is a gift and that I should never take it for granted. Next, Claudia. I learned from you that hard work does not go unnoticed, and that when things don't go your way, God is trying to give you something even better than before. Now for my fellow valedictorian, George, or Jorge, whatever your name is. I learned a lot from you, but the most important thing I learned was that even if you have no idea what you're talking about, your best option is to act like you do. Kathleen, I know you're not here today, but I know you would appreciate this. I learned from you that Benedict Cumberbatch is extremely good looking. Adia, I learned the most important thing that I learned during my entire high school career from you. To spread kindness wherever I go. And I need to thank Isaiah, because he taught me that I'm pretty short. Repeatedly. And he was the first person that I successfully completed a trust fall with, and it was on a rooftop in Jerusalem. So thanks, brother. Andrew, I learned from you that not everyone appreciates good music, and that it's never too late to go back to something you love. Katie, you taught me to be proud of my talents. Bella, you taught me quite the lesson, this year especially, to just slow down and relax, which is nearly impossible for me. But you're the chillest person I know, and I'm working on it. Danielle, you taught me that it is very possible to start a friendship in less than a year. Claire. The most memorable thing I've ever learned from you is that shalom can successfully substitute any other word. And to always be there for the people I care about. Luke, you taught me that I should always smile, even when I don't want to. Payne, I learned from you that life is too short to not be in a good mood. Xavier, you taught me that our faith should come before anything else. That your SoundCloud is wheatgrass shots or straight fire. Next, Morgan. I learned from you that getting up early to school, and then getting to school, really pays off in the end. Emma Taylor, the Little Prince. Aside from showing me all the cartoons cartoon characters that I resemble. I learned from you that we should love and strive to be like innocent children. Paulina, you taught me that the world is a lot bigger than we all think. You can figure that out just by going a little ways down the road. Tyler, I learned from you to put the people I love the most first in my life, and to always have a good attitude. Carly, I learned from you to forgive others, and to listen to my heart when it comes to decisions that will affect the rest of my life. Daniel, I learned from you to give everyone a second chance, and a first chance. Courtney, you taught me to be independent and not to care about anyone else's opinion of me. Bradley, you taught me to keep going, even if life hits you in the face with a pillow that was holding a flower crown for Marion about a couple of years ago. I was the one that hit him in the face. Lastly, Emma Cross. You taught me lots of things, like that it's annoying when I squeak when I laugh too hard. But most importantly, you taught me that we are all going to do just fine on our own. All it takes is a little courage and our capabilities. Earlier this year, I had a college interview with an admissions representative from Lehigh University, the institution with which I am privileged to attend next fall. During our conversation, he told me something I would like to share with all of you. We were discussing the long list of schools I had applied to, and he inquired as to why I was applying to so many secular institutions coming from such a small, Catholic, private school. I told him I felt I had gained the experience I needed to be strong in my own beliefs and morals, and that I wanted to face the world around me. He totally surprised me with, "I understand completely, for a light cannot shine in the light." We have lived in the light for so long. Light causes growth, and it has nourished us for many years of our lives, and now we are little flowers venturing into the world around us that flowers could walk. If we think back to the time each one of us started here, we have grown a lot. Some of us in size, some of us not in size, but all of us in maturity. I think we can all be lights in the darkness, and I'm confident we will all step up to the plate and do exceedingly well in our endeavors of higher education. Our country needs us, and they need us now. It needs our ideas, and it needs our energy. Now I'm going to extend this metaphor a little further. We pride ourselves in being the light, and I just encourage us all to go out into the darkness. Well, before we put ourselves up on that pedestal, I want to remind all of us that we are not perfect. We still have a lot to learn. I truly believe that you can learn something from anyone you meet, and I urge all of you to do so during your college adventures. Dabble with ideas that are foreign to you. Participate in conversations with people of other religions, races, and viewpoints. As much as the people of the world need us to be an example of faith and fortitude, we need them. We need to start having a little more faith in humanity. The world is not as evil as we believe it to be. We can attest to that today with this gathering. So as we go into the darkness, my little lights, let's be illuminative to others, but let's be close to them too, because I promise you, that is the way we will discover even more little lights. Thank you to all my teachers. I had the privilege of taking at least one class from every teacher at Everest besides Mrs. Hearn, who I got to know, love, and perhaps fear, as my soccer coach for 8th grade and my first year of high school. It's a good feeling to know that the teachers here on Everest are always on your side, even when it doesn't seem like it, and have made themselves available to us whenever possible. From 7 a.m. study sessions with Doc, to after-school study sessions with Mrs. Smith, to the countless emails me and Holly have sent Mr. Wynn about projects, to teaching us how to make moves, Mr. Golden. Our teachers help us so much. Thanks, Miss Clements, for showing the AP Lit family that a fly in your Chardonnay is not ironic at all. Thank you, Dr. Conan, for inspiring me a love for art that I never knew I had. Thanks, Mr. Dabney, for teaching us a lot about coffee and always being there for the girls when we needed to vent. But we haven't forgotten that you still owe us like 7 Good Music Tuesdays. And I hope we all remember Mr. Sensel's attitude and Mr. Molesky's intriguing digressions when we get blown off by future professions. And thanks, Mr. Tower, for showing us that anything can be edible if you just believe. And Mr. Carr, we are all rooting for you to get that taco truck one day, and I will personally be first in line for what taco. And Miss Mansour, I don't think we will ever forget to draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. And thank you to Mrs. Crow for always supporting me from the time I came into your office as a freshman and asked for a book of majors until today. When you know that someone believes in you, that feeling is just unmatchable. Thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Lonnie for the wonderful athletics that Everest offers. Thank you to Mr. Reichert, Mr. Cross, Mrs. Van Wagner, and Mr. Nalepa for ensuring Everest has a healthy and Christ-centered environment for us all. Thank you, Mrs. Lowney and Miss Martin, for those wonderful hellos every morning that somehow revived me on the days that I wanted to curl up in a ball and just stay there. Thank you to Jill, April, Rose, Father Daniel, Father Salazar, and all the other priests and consecrated around Everest for making yourselves available to us for spiritual direction and daily communion, which I personally will always hold in my heart. Thank you to all the parents for all you do for your children. And thank you, Mom and Dad. I know you have a handful. So, without further ado, guys, we did it. We are survivors of the collegiate. I'm never going to forget all the amazing times we've shared, and I know you've got my back. It's amazing to ponder on all that we've accomplished in just 4 years. God bless the collegiate. And just for you, Mr. Tower,